Typically a red flashing fault light is bad, but also it can just mean that you have a brand new PLC that needs configured. So today I want to show you how to do your initial configuration on your PLC and download your first program. For the Compactlogix, there's going to be two ways that we can connect to this. First, we have the USB port on the front of it, and you can connect a USB A to B printer cable from it to your laptop, and you'll be good to go. I have a video on that already. And the Ethernet port comes configured as DHCP, so we're going to need to assign an address. So I'm going to plug a cable into the bottom of it, and I'm going to plug the other side into the PLC Tools SIM IPE. Then I'm going to go to Assign Address, and then we're going to use BootP DHCP, and we're going to assign it 192.168.1.181, and I'm going to click OK to set to static. And now we're ready to communicate over Ethernet. So I'm going to plug the Ethernet port back in, and then let's go get a program to download. So go to twcontrols.com, and in the search bar, just search for sample, and we'll find the sample PLC programs. And then for this one, I'm going to download the TRN BAS RA5000 programs. Then go ahead and open up that program. Then let's go to Communications and Who Active. And then since we're connecting over Ethernet, I'll click right here. Make sure these boxes right here are marching. And there's our PLC. But before we even hit the download button, let's just right click it and go to Device Property. And the biggest thing I want you to see here is the revision right now is down at 1.005. And this just means that you have a brand new PLC that doesn't have a firmware in it. There's nothing wrong with it. We have an update firmware button right here, but typically you're going to download. So just so we can see what's going to happen, let's go ahead and hit the download button. And right away, it's going to give you this warning that you need to update your firmware. So we're just going to hit the update button. And a few things about this, you don't want to be doing a bunch of other things while you're doing this. You want to hit the update firmware and just let this go. Because especially in your older ones, if this process got interrupted, you could easily brick that controller. What that means is make it where there's no recovering from it. Even now, I'm sitting here recording on the same PC that I'm doing the firmware update on. That's probably a no-no. So just be patient, let it go through its process. We're approaching the end of our last update. And there's a long, awkward pause here. Don't worry about it. It's doing its thing. Don't cycle power. Don't do anything. Just be patient. And we'll have a long transfer delay. And then you're going to see the light go solid. You're going to freak out. It's okay. It's not a big deal. In fact, let me get a close-up at that. Yeah, so you see it's sitting here solid. No worries. It's going to be just fine. It's actually updating the firmware right now. And then it'll go through its basic power cycle where it does all its light dances. And you're going to be back to the flashing red fault light. And that's because while now it has a firmware in it, it doesn't actually have a program in it. So firmware is kind of the equivalent of a Windows operating system. And then the program is the ladder logic or structure text or function block that you want to run. So now we're going to go right back into the same thing. And now we have a prompt here saying download. We'll click the download button. And then we're going to go up here and switch to run mode. And there you go. You got your first program in and you're ready to start learning. Click here for a great playlist of getting started tutorials.